is being recorded.
I bring you all greetings from all the way from Naples, Florida. I am in Naples, Florida, and I'm a day late. Well, I'm not a day late. This grandbaby of mine is a day late. She was supposed to came to spend some time with me yesterday, but she decided she didn't want to come out the womb yet. So her mama wobbling around here, and so y'all be praying. They're on their way to the doctor right now, and we just gonna believe that that baby gonna pop. Amen. But as I sit and think about as I think about life, as I think about where we are in life, and as I think about where we desire to be in life, um, there's something that I just cannot shake. And the something that I cannot shake is the fact that many of us in life are living a life that, that's contrary to the life we desire to live. And when we look at where we are, if we're honest with ourselves, we're not at the place that we desire to be. Now, the truth is, Coach Dan is talking about the man in the mirror. Because the challenge that I have with me is not that I don't have the capacity. It's not that I don't have the competency. It's not that I don't have the ability. But the truth of the matter is, I, like some of us, there's some of us on this line, we're where we want to be. We're doing what we want to do. We're living the kind of life we desire to live, and we are happy with where we are. But then for the few of us that's on this line that says, no, Coach, I'm where you are, I'm perplexed. And I'm perplexed because the truth is that if we really wanted to be at a different place in our lives, if we really wanted to look in the mirror from all angles and be pleased with ourselves, I'll catch that tomorrow, figuratively and naturally, then we would make the conscious decision to stop, watch this, to stop submitting to our subconscious behavior that is a contradiction of what we are consciously thinking. Wait a minute. There is two ideas of thought that we contend with daily. One is that from our subconscious, and the other one is that from our conscious. The subconscious thoughts are thoughts that lives within us without any level of intentionality. The subconscious thoughts become the impulsive thoughts. And then what happens is what we sense in the subconscious, we are now faced with a choice. And the choice is, what am I going to do? Subconsciously, I want to lay in bed. I don't want to get up. Subconsciously, I just, without any thought, I don't feel like it. Subconsciously says, this is what I want, and so I want this Pepsi. I want this pork. I want this subconscious. Subconscious, I don't like working out. And I've said I don't like working out so much that I've become one with the idea subconsciously that I don't work out. So all of these things is happening. And so every time, so I have a choice to make. And the choice that I have to make, I'm not going to continue to live in the subconsciousness of my life, which means I'm living my life based on these feelings that are just happening, or am I going to become conscious and begin to make some changes? Which means I have to choose. I have to be more intentional about what I do. Here it is. I have read the Bible once. When I say once, I read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation once in my life. And I have not done it in a while. Now I read this chapter over here, that chapter over there, that book over there. But I say that I want a true and more intimate relationship with God. Well, I can't have a true and intimate relationship with God without having a true and intimate relationship with his word. And every time I read his word, I can read the same chapter 10 times and get 10 different revelations of who God is in his word. I'm going somewhere. I want y'all to follow me. And so here is my reality. My reality is this, that if I truly want a more intimate relationship with God, then I must have a true relationship with his word. Subconsciously, though, I don't read his word at that level of intentionality. I read it, I study it, and I touch God's word every day. But I don't read Genesis through Revelation. And so I challenged myself this week that I'll begin to read. I'll have Genesis through Revelation read before the end of the year. And I created a Bible reading plan and all of that. But guess what? How many of us have set the things up but then never actually followed through? How many of us put the plan, created the plan, but never stuck to the plan? Why? Because things just happen. And when things just happen, we allow the things, the happening of just things to hinder our ability to be intentional about what we know is going to make us better. Because we're satisfying the moment. Yeah. How many of us are living lives where we're just satisfying the moment? How many of us are working through our business where we're just satisfying the moment? And if it's not a stretch, y'all, if it's not a sacrifice, if it's not a pull, if it's not a tug, I guarantee you it's not going to fulfill you. If it comes so easy to you, it's not going to fulfill you. Listen, everything that's worth having is going to cause you to be uncomfortable. It's going to cause you to be intentional. If you want a six-pack, you got to be intentional. If you don't want the kid, you got to be intentional. You got to be intentional about what you put in your mouth. You got to be intentional about working out. You got to be intentional about all of the things that you do. And some of us are not living out seeing the life that we desire to live manifest because we're not being intentional in living it. And so we got to shift. We got to shift. And we got to stop settling for the pleasure of our now and begin to pursue the purpose of our future. We got to live with intentionality. If you're going to build a business, you got to be intentional. And let me tell you what I'm finding. I'm finding when you begin to start living life with intentionality, that means that you are working principles. And as you begin to work these principles, there's a principle to healthy eating. There's a principle to working out. And when you begin to work these principles, the principles which was established by God, I believe, these principles, guess what? They are going to work. And when the principles begin to work, as the principles begin to work on your behalf, everything begins to get in alignment with what you have agreed that you will do with a certain level of intentionality. Are y'all getting this? I shared with you the kind of month that I had in January, and I told you that in February it looks like we're going to meet our annual goal it looks like in the month of the first quarter, we're going to hit our break-even point for the entire year. Our break-even projections for the entire year. We may hit in the first quarter, but in January, it was the worst start of any year in the past 5 years. But there was intentionality. I went into staff meetings. I said the magic number, there's two numbers, 15 and 40, but the magic number is 40. You got to keep 40 in your spirit. I was speaking to my son yesterday, and I said, well, we're at 10. What's the number? He said, Dad, why you keep making me say it? Because I need you to get it in your spirit, because anything less than 40 is not an option. And so what you have to, so now we're becoming intentional. We're tracking our movement. How many have we asked for, opposed to how many have we gotten? We have to track our movement with intentionality. I set this Bible plan up. I'm going to read for 15 minutes before I touch my phone, before I do anything else. I'm going to read 15 minutes before I study anything else. I'm reading a book right now. Before I read a chapter in that book, for 15 minutes every single day. And here's what I learned, that if you do something 18 times consecutively, now you begin to change the trajectory of your subconscious. Oh, wow, you got to catch this. So now, if I do this for 18 days in a row, then my subconscious is going to begin to become reconditioned. So subconsciously, I wake up and read my word. Subconsciously, are y'all getting this? And so you got to make some intentional decisions of what it is you need to do. Coach don't have to coach you on how to build this business. Why? Because you've already been coached in how to build the business. Now, there's some things that we can adjust. There's some things that we can address. There's some things that have come up that you need answers to. And matter of fact, I think next week what I want to do is ask the coach. I'm going to give y'all 30 seconds to ask me a question. I'm going to answer the question in 60 seconds, 60 to 90 seconds, and we're going to go to the next person. That's what we're going to do next week. So get your questions ready. But here is the deal. Here is the deal, y'all. You know what to do. You just got to tap into the necessary discipline to get it done. You know what to do. And you got to stop settling for what you don't like in your life. Wow. Wow. You got to stop settling for what you don't like in your life. Because as long as you settle, you'll become complacent in a place that you're not comfortable. I challenge you to live your life, to begin to live your life with some level of intentionality, because everything is going to begin to align. What do you mean by that, Coach? I'll tell you as I get ready to go. So here's the thing. I was perusing through, oddly enough, I was looking through LoopNet. I was really looking for a multi-family unit building, a 10-unit building or something along those lines, for consideration of acquisition. While I was looking through it, I saw this building about 7,000 square feet that's less than a mile away from my home, about 2-minute drive from my home. And as we're growing, my garage has turned into a mini warehouse, because my existing warehouse, the way that it's laid out, does not have the capacity to really be able to house the things that we need housed. We need overhead, 18-foot overhead doors and all of that kind of stuff, all of the equipment and different things we have. And so I saw this piece of property, went and looked at it. Now you got to understand that Coach Dan already has another project 2 minutes from that project that he's working on. That's a huge project. But then I saw this one and I said, why not do both? Why can't we have both? So with intentionality, I called the realtor and we went and looked at it and we start creating vision for it and all of that kind of stuff. And then the realtor says to me, I called the realtor back and I said, hey, listen, we want to put an offer on this building with a few contingencies. I just wanted to give you the heads up. And he said, well, we may have to pull this offer off the table. Pull the property off the market. I'm waiting to hear back from the tax attorney. So I shared with my son and I said, son, listen, I'm not certain exactly where this thing is going to go, based on, this, that, and the other. And so I'm just talking. I'm telling you, the story is going to bless you. I'm telling you how when you live your life with intentionality, things begins to line up. And so I had a scheduled meeting on yesterday regarding the other project, and I was meeting with the tax attorney. And while I'm meeting with the tax attorney, I say to him, listen, I'm looking at this building over here, and this building over here, they said they may have to pull it off the market because of the fact that they're waiting to hear back from the tax attorney. So the attorney that I'm talking to in this meeting begins to chuckle. He begins to laugh. I said, what's funny? He said, because they haven't called me yet. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, just so you know, I am the tax attorney for that building. And so he said, well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to look into both of these projects for you, and I'm going to make certain that we can see what we can do to get you there. But he said, I got good news for you. I said, what's that? He said, this building that you're looking at is in the TIF district. Now, it was going to cost me, I projected about $150,000, $175,000 to fix. And so what he said was, because it's in a TIF district, by law, 100% of the remodel is supposed to be done by the village itself, of the rehab. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying to you? None of this would have happened if I was not being intentional about what my purpose is and about the business that I'm building. See, when you start the wheels turning and you're being intentional about it, you'll begin to bump into the right person at the right time, at the right grocery store. The person you've been looking for all of a sudden finds you. But it doesn't happen because you want it to happen. It happens because you're working with a certain level of intentionality. And as you're working with a certain level of intentionality and you're working the principles that has been proven to work, you'll begin to see that everything comes into alignment on your behalf. So as I get ready to close, I close and I leave you with this. Make a conscious decision every day to be intentional about doing what it takes to live the kind of life that you want to live. So when you look in the mirror, you'll be pleased with what you see, no matter what angle you're looking at. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to pass it back to Kathy. I trust and pray this was helpful to you. And until next time, as always, prosper and be blessed.
Oh, Coach Dan, thank you. Thank you for intentionality. Congratulations. We are already calling it into fruition. You have both buildings. It's already done. And you are a grandpapa. So that is wonderful. You have so many wonderful. Thank you for sharing your testimony with us, because it's inspiring to let us know that all we have to do is keep pushing, be intentional, and be faithful. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Remember, tonight, Dr. Betty is going to be on with her. Here she is. So, Dr. Betty, if you want to unmute, you can remind us about tonight at 7 o'clock and let us know what you might be highlighting tonight. Are you there, Dr. Betty? Well, don't forget, on the Zoom, our regular Zoom tonight at 7 p.m., Dr. Betty Guy will be there. Dr. Betty Smith will be there to talk to you guys about, she'll give expert insight on our products and answer your questions. And after that is the community, our community of people that are on the cleanse, thinking about the cleanse, just got off the cleanse. Great community that happens right after Dr. Betty's call. And stay tuned. Today you'll have rebounding. So that should be right after this call. So you guys have a wonderful Tuesday and be blessed. See you here tomorrow.